Discipline for traders as a scalper, as a prop firm trader, is one of the most important things that you need to, in my opinion, focus on a day in and day out basis. And that's going to entail slowing down the process. That's going to entail maybe taking less trades. That's going to entail maybe taking red days when you don't want to, when you feel like you can battle back and you feel like the market just opened. And maybe if you sit around for another 2 or 3 hours, that maybe you'll win that money back. Discipline, discipline, discipline. Now, if you're going to be in this type of business, especially on the prop firm side of things, you need to be extremely disciplined. The most popular size account for prop firms is $50,000 accounts. So depending on the prop firm that you are trading with, you are looking at between $2,000 and $2,500 worth of drawdown, which is not a lot. And most of the time we are over leveraged on our position sizing, meaning we're trading mini contracts, whether that's 1, 2, 3 mini contracts. And again, realistically, probably should be trading micros, but I get it. You know, especially if you're a scalper, you're not looking for that many points to be taken out of the market. So you kind of need those quick little moves there, and mini contracts can definitely help you achieve that goal. But the thing is that you need to break things down on a month-by-month basis versus a trade-by-trade or a day-by-day basis. And what that means to me is that instead of focusing on how many trades you could take today, how much money you can make today, we need to focus about taking the trade setups that present themselves and stopping out when we, are over $200, when we're over $300, and look at it in a sense where, regardless if you're in an evaluation or you're in a funded account, you only need about 10 to 12 of those winning days to be, put you over the edge to where you can request a payout. You only need 10 to 12 days before you can realistically pass an evaluation. And the thing that, tends to go right over a lot of traders' heads is that I need to pass today. I need to pass today. I need to get a payout this week. I need to, hurry up and fall within the payment window to where I can request. When realistically, take trades, set risk management in place, and take those trades until you hit that number. And again, if you are comfortable with making $200, $300, $400 in a day, be very comfortable with losing $200, $300, $400 in a day as well, and then being able to stop out. That was one thing that I was talking about on the call this morning with some members from Evolution Traders, was that, if a lot of you guys are looking to aim between $200 and $500 net profit at the end of the day, just keep in mind that you are going to run into days where you're going to be down $200, $300, $400, $500, and you're going to need to call it a day as well. Because why is it that we're comfortable stopping out with a $500 green day, but not comfortable stopping out with a $500 red day? That's a mindset shift that needs to happen with a lot of individual traders. And again, discipline is going to come into that. You have to be a little bit more mentally strong in this business to kind of get through these peaks and valleys, because there's a lot of peaks and valleys when it comes to trading. You're going to have amazing green days and amazing win streaks, and you're going to have days and even weeks where you just feel ice cold, where maybe the market's not cooperating with you and maybe you're just not seeing the market clearly. Again, if you're not seeing the market clearly and you are having some tough time even on your particular strategy that you use, that you have confidence in and that you've back tested and works, and you're still not able to find a little bit of an edge to make that cash flow, sometimes it's best to just kind of get off the charts for a day, 2 days, 3 days, and just kind of reset yourself, right? Come back. Because again, discipline is very important, because understanding that not one any day is going to define you as a trader is going to be very, very important. Because what tends to happen a lot of times we're very quick to snatch profits. So $50 win, $100 win, $150 win, but then that loser, $300. And it's when that loser of $300 or $250 or $200 happens, and now mentally it's going to take you 2 or 3 or 4 trades to kind of get that money back, you tend to fall into this rut where you just want to say, okay, F it. Next trade, I'm going to double everything and I'm just going to go for it because I already lost. But in reality, that loss is nothing more than a speed bump, okay? because a lot of times, especially for scalpers, typically scalpers are going to have a much higher win rate percentage, where maybe you might win 80, 85, 70, 75, 90% of your trades. It's the mental aspect of the losing trade that is going to put you on tilt. And a lot of times, depending on the time frame that you're trading, let's say, for example, you're trading a 30-minute time frame or a 15-minute time frame or a 5-minute time frame. Well, those setups are going to be far few in between. So from the point in time where you take a losing trade, it could be 45 minutes to an hour and a half before the next trade that could potentially be a winner sets up. And what I notice is that a lot of traders, once they take that losing trade, they immediately revert back to, okay, how do I get this back right now on this candlestick in this price? And they completely forget about their rules and their strategy, and they start looking for things outside the box. Just to kind of recap a little bit from today, I still am a firm believer that the first 15 minutes to 30 minutes of this market open, a New York market open, is by far an absolute shit show. Okay, prices going up, prices going down, there's a lot of head fakes, and then it's kind of like after that first hour or so, the market starts to kind of find some bit of trend, or at least a little bit of movement. Now that can change in 2 weeks, that can change in a month, that can change tomorrow. But I think that if you're newer and you're just starting out, where you're trying to focus on one particular set of rules and a strategy and actually find consistency, then maybe sitting out a little bit longer off the open is going to help you. That way it mitigates some of the early losses that can cause that emotional tilt very early on in the trading day. And it's going to allow you to at least see some price action and some structure, and at least give you an overall idea on what the market's actually doing before just trying to figure it out on a whim off the open. Now, if you were to look at today's price action and you were to actually kind of sit out those first 30 minutes, well, based on my strategy here, and actually let me change this around because I was looking at something else earlier in the day. But if I look at this 20 SMA here, okay, after the first 30 minutes, we get a 20 SMA play to the long side. That price is 203.89, and it runs up to a price of 20400. So if we look at this, anything, 5-10 points would have hit for an easy take profit before stopping you out. Now, again, depending on your position sizing, what's wrong with calling this one trade, and being done for the day? If you can realistically come into the market and win one trade for $100 and do that for the next 30 days, wouldn't that be eligible for a payout? Wouldn't that be eligible to pass another evaluation? If you had 10 accounts and you were just making $100 a day, I know it sounds easier than what it actually is, and of course there's always going to be losing days in there, but if you just take the whole body of work and you tell yourself that if I can just make it through 20 to 30 days of making $150 a day, I'm on my way to a payout. And where that really starts to scale is when you have 5 accounts and taking a $2,000 payout times 5 accounts. That's a $10,000 a month, averaging around $150 a day. Now, again, are you going to get paid every single day? No. Are you going to be able to request a payout every single week? No. Are you going to be able to request a payout maybe once a month? Sure. Maybe 40 days, 45 days? Sure. But I think taking out $10,000 across 5 accounts in a measly 40 to 50 days is pretty good money. That's going to break down to around a $5,000 a month average. Again, that's taking out $2,000 times 5 accounts. But the one thing that really needs to happen in that period is you got to get through the days. And a lot of times traders, they make it 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and then something happens where they run into a tough open or a tough day, and they give it all back, and then they repeat the cycle. So having those stop losses in place and that daily risk management in place is definitely something that you need to keep in mind. Now, again, based on your win rate percentage, let's say you're a trader that wins at 60% of the time. Well, maybe sitting there and taking every single setup is probably not the best idea for you. Maybe taking 1 trade, 2 trades, 3 trades max is probably your sweet spot, because again, you want those days of winning probabilities to kind of stack up. And again, you never want to run into a 4 or 5 trade losing streak in one day where you can potentially go on tilt and lose that account. But let's say you're a scalper who operates at maybe an 80 to 85, 90% win rate, and all you really have to manage is that, once every 8 trades where you do take that loser, not going on tilt at that particular time, then you can essentially sit there and kind of take every single setup that you see, because you ultimately know that a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trade win streak is right around the corner. So what's one loss when you can go on a winning streak of 5, 6, 7, 8 trades in a row? But again, it's different if your strategy is hitting between 40 and 60%. You might fall into a period of time where you lose 3, 4, 5 trades in a row. And typically when that tends to happen on those type of strategies, traders can definitely get in their heads and definitely self-sabotage themselves. So again, let's stop the self-sabotage. Let's be disciplined. Let's be respectful. Again, guys, a lot of you guys, 90% of you people who are out there working a 9-to-5 job anyways, there's not too many jobs where you have an employer where every day you show up to work, at the end of the day, they pay you. Now, again, before I get some smartass in the comments, yes, there's under the table jobs. Yes, there's side gigs where you do a specific task or you do a day labor type of job and you get paid at the end of the day. But realistically speaking, if you're on payroll, the employer is not paying you at the end of your shift. Normally you have to wait 2 weeks. Sometimes it's weekly checks and sometimes it's a monthly check. So in trading, just because money is coming in the door and out the door each and every single day doesn't mean necessarily that we need to cash a check every single day. Let's allow the days to stack up. Approach it like a 9-to-5, evaluate your P&L at the end of 2 weeks, and maybe you're ready to request a payout at the end of 2 weeks. But we at least have to get through 2 weeks worth of work. We at least have to do 4 weeks worth of work before we can realistically think that we're eligible for a payout. So if you're on a prop firm that pays out every 2 weeks, then maybe you will approach it as I work for 2 weeks and see if I'm eligible for a payout. And if I'm not, then I work another 2 weeks and see if I'm eligible for a payout. If you're on a firm like Top Step where you can request after 5 winning trade days, then approach that as a 9-to-5 that pays you on a weekly basis, that weekly check at the end of the week on a Friday, because maybe you hit 5 days in a row and you had a good week and you're able to take out half of that balance and get yourself paid and then do it all again next week. But never treat it on a trade by trade or day by day basis. We've got to at least complete 5 days worth of work before we even start thinking about taking payouts, before we even start thinking about how close we are to passing evaluations. So again, discipline is going to be very, very key. And a lot of times people are undisciplined because they want to go out there and they want to grab 10 accounts and they want to pass them all today and they want to take that payout at the end of the week, when realistically you need to take about 3 or 4 more weeks on top of that and just allow those days to compound and keep hammering home your system and believing and trusting in the process. If you guys need any Apex accounts, that link is down in the description box below. I think the sale is lifted, however, right now. So again, if you want to kind of hang tight, that's fine. If you do absolutely need something, you can use that link down below. Also, if you guys are looking to join Evolution Traders, that link is also down in the description box below. And I will see all of you guys on the next video.